LeBron with his fourth. Welcome into the Monday edition of the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It's awesome to be with all of you today. We have a really exciting show coming up. We're going to be breaking down the entire weekend of sports and sports activities, some positive stuff, some negative stuff, and then some stuff depending on your opinion, positive or negative. And speaking of that, while we're bringing in Gavin Tony right now, Gavin, props to the brand new background, just temporary background, but those we can appreciate the purple and gold. As the Los Angeles Lakers have claimed their 17th title last night, we'll also talk about our hometown Philadelphia Eagles, which if you're an Eagles fan, I'm not sure you can be terribly upset with the game yesterday. There's a lot of things we can pinpoint. We'll get to all of that and more. But first of all, Gavin, I do have to ask you, how are you? How was your weekend?
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I came on and I did not approve of this yellow and gold, purple and gold background. I don't approve of it. Zach, I had a horrible sports weekend. I had a great weekend as a person, but horrible sports weekend. How about you? I could just sense the happiness on your end. So how about you? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I think that Friday night, Gavin, you were kind of excited. You said we should do a show for the weekend. I'm like, no, let's wait. Let's see what Game 6 has to offer. But other than that, good day of football yesterday. Obviously, our hometown Eagles did not claim a victory. Sunday night football was exciting. A lot going on in the football right now due to the coronavirus. We'll have to see what's going on, how some of those games continue to change and be affected. San Francisco 49ers, an absolute shocker as they lost to the Miami Dolphins. And, yeah, I know we shouldn't talk about losing to the Dolphins, but this is the San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo got benched at halftime. We also do have to cover some other unfortunate news, some injuries on the Eagles, including Lane Johnson and Darius Slay. Also some really heartbreaking news for anyone, honestly, who knows Dak Prescott as a person who suffered a season-ending injury yesterday. Andy Dalton will be going into quarterback for them. We'll have to unveil all that. So a lot to go over today. But first of all, we are going to start today's show off with the big news of the weekend, which is that the Lakers have successfully won their 17th title against this Miami Heat team. And so I was thinking, Gavin, before we started the show, just kind of how we should address it, honestly, whether it be in the way of, for Kobe Bryant and to the Laker Nation, who's been through a lot of heartache. And some people out there like, it's been 10 years. It's not the end of the world if you don't win the NBA title this year. But, for the Buss family, who has went through nothing but ups and downs, mostly downs in the past few years. And I know the Lakers are historically a great franchise, and they tied the Boston Celtics now with the most titles ever. And LeBron James got his fourth Finals MVP. All that other stuff. And so there's many different ways that we can look at it today. Many different ways that we can say, like, all right, well, here's what's happening with the series. Here's what's happening with LeBron James. Here's how it advances the discussion of the GOAT conversation, which I know we'll have to continue to have that conversation as it strengthens arguably here.
There's no debate. There's no debate on that.
And I don't know. I mean, we'll discuss that later. I think today it's more to talk about and just talk about the Lakers.
That's the problem. But this is the problem with everyone, and this is why I'm pissed off today. First of all, anyone that thinks I'm upset about the Lakers winning, I'm not. All right, they did it for Kobe Bryant. It was lovely. Every tribute, all right, all the pictures I've seen, I don't have a problem with it. All right, I don't have a problem with winning. But damn it, it's the problem with the conversations come after the win. Ladies and gentlemen, when are we going to start crediting this with people going 4-6 in the finals? Huh? All right? There's a perfect 6-0 record. Zach, I came on the show last week. I said, you know what? He's not close to Jordan. Maybe he's pushing Kobe. I know it might be a little hard to say on a day like this, and especially what happened. But he's pushing Kobe, right? 4. Kobe had 5. LeBron has 4 with a little bit more accolades. The reason I say pushing for Kobe because he came out of high school like Kobe Bryant did. That's why I say that. All right. They arguably had the same timeline for careers. Maybe LeBron's obviously going to go a little bit longer than Kobe Bryant did. But you got to remember, they both came out of high school. And for Michael Jordan not to come out of high school and actually went to college, almost arguably stayed for another year as well. He went to college, came out, and then went 6-0. That's what you idiots keep forgetting is that the timeline of what these guys have done, right? The timeline of what Michael Jordan went to college, right? If Michael Jordan didn't go to college, it might be a different story. It might have a little bit more. Michael Jordan didn't retire. But Zach, you're right. It's not going to go debate. Today it is about the Lakers. So, I'm going to be nice today. You ready? Congratulations, LeBron James. Congratulations on your 4th. You're still 4-6 in the NBA Finals. I don't know if something you really want to be proud about. But Zach, another thing too, and I'm gonna hand it right back off to you is why can't it be about the team win? Why is the narrative gotta be how close is LeBron to Jordan now? Is the gap closed? All right, I hear people saying that LeBron's passed Michael Jordan. Since when? Where's the three-peats? Huh? Where's one of them? You gotta get one. Kobe has one. All right. Where's the where's the everything else that comes with it? Defensive Player of the Year. LeBron never won that. Where's all the other accolades and stuff? You could talk about scoring and stuff, but here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I'm really pissed off, and I knew this was going to happen, Zach. Lakers win the title. That's not the headline. It's LeBron got another one. How close is he to Jordan? Did he pass it? Damn it, there's 14 other people on the team that deserve to be part of a headline today. Rajon Rondo, 1-1 with the Celtics, 1-1 with the Lakers. That's story. That's headline. Anthony Davis is first one. J.R. Smith got another ring. Surprisingly, he didn't do anything. All right, Deion Waiters is a win-win situation. It didn't matter who won; he was getting one regardless. That is the frustrating part about today is that we're not celebrating the real reason of winning. We're always talking about LeBron James, and that's the irritating part. Is the fact that it's always LeBron James. When the Lakers lose, it's never LeBron James. It's everybody else. Where's his loss? Why don't we ever complain about him? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to sound like a hater, but his fans are making this title even worse. I was the first one that came out and said yesterday, I said, the NBA is not even fun to watch because you guys ruin the NBA and how bad. LeBron James takes one step, Zach, and he's the GOAT for taking a step. LeBron James is going to go home and sit on the couch. He's the GOAT for how he sat down on the couch. That's how bad it is listening to his fan base. Can you enjoy the real reason? Can you enjoy Kobe Bryant, the celebration, the real reason why they really won? Kobe Bryant and team effort is always the narratives about LeBron James. This man, can we make this about Kobe Bryant? Maybe? Can we? They did Anthony Davis. Excuse me. Anthony Davis came out and said, you know what? He was a big brother to us. All right. If anyone thinks I'm hating on that reason, that's totally false. Get the hell out of your get that out of your system. That's not true. It's just the fact that they won, and as soon as they won, it was go this, go that, go here, go everywhere, go this. Like, the real reason of what they won is for the beautiful art of Kobe Bryant. And you're taking that away from him today. You're taking away from everybody else. It's not about LeBron James, everybody. And arguably, I still think Kevin Durant's the best player, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I do want to contend that we're not really going to focus on it, but there's a interesting T-shirt I saw drop on Amazon last night. Number 23,
and that's the problem.
LeBron James to GOAT.
Not even 24 hours. And look at. This is why I hate when he wins, because everybody has like
he wins. Doesn't winning mean something?
It does. It does mean something. You're right, Zach.
But in the 10 NBA Finals, and
why everybody act like a damn idiot?
He had around him has not been up to par to win an NBA Finals in some years. I just got to say this is something that needs to be said. This was not an easy year. Should not be an asterisk year.
No, this is not. It's far from an asterisk year.
For a veteran like LeBron James, I'm sure it's different, without having fans in there, and it benefits guys like Tyler Hero and some of these other guys. So I don't think it's an asterisk year. This year was tough. And Gavin, we spoke about this before from LeBron as a person. All the weight that he has had to carry, all of this other stuff going on in order for him to thrust himself forward. Gavin, this team is not a playoff team this year without LeBron James and Anthony Davis. All right, with Anthony Davis, they're a playoff team. They're not an NBA Finals team. And then you put them all together there, and look what they are. All right, this team is better than the Los Angeles Clippers because they step up when it matters. On paper, you're right. The Clippers are better. Where's that X factor? It's LeBron James, Gavin. It's his ability to pick other guys up. Remember how Rajon Rondo told him the way you look at these guys affects them. You don't think he took that to heart and made a big difference this year? He missed the playoffs last year for the first time in his career, possibly I think his rookie and a few other those years he didn't make the playoffs. And then he goes and makes the NBA Finals every year since joining the Miami Heat. Right? He decided, okay, for me, it's a business decision to go to South Beach. He goes down there. They lose to a really talented Dallas Mavericks team. And I don't think that, in my opinion, that finals is invalid for you to argue as the finals loss for him because he also beat Kobe Bryant. He beat him before the finals. All right? So I think that's a big point as well. Again, but Kobe Bryant lost before the NBA Finals. I'm saying that LeBron James has gotten to the finals. You can say it's in the East. He went to the West this year and won. So that's my first thing. And then he goes and wins back-to-back. And then he goes
the Warriors.
You lose against the San Antonio Spurs
and Kyrie
after you beat them. All right, that's another big thing. And then, you go back to Cleveland and you pick up a team that was a par team. I'd say they were an average team.
A par team?
With Kyrie Irving, the first few years, they were nothing special. There was nothing special about that team. You got Tristan Thompson there. You finally go out and you get Kevin Love, and then you have LeBron James, and you go on to the NBA playoffs. They get injuries, and then they go on to the NBA Finals, and they lose in, 5 games?
But can we just stop acting like Kyrie Irving's some slouch? Everybody thinks that Kyrie Irving's play wasn't any. This guy was an all-star when LeBron got there. He was already an all-star. He just needed someone else to play with. That was the narrative of the NBA is you always needed someone to play with.
It's a team sport.
But you play. That's the narrative of the NBA. But listen, the way how people talk about Kyrie Irving is like he's a slouch. Like he wasn't out here playing basketball before LeBron James came back.
And look at what happened after, though, because that brings more evidence into play. What did he do afterwards? He's got a heck of a talent, but he had an opportunity to lead his own team. He couldn't do it. And who is he recruited now? He's recruited Kevin Durant. There's nothing wrong with that. If I'm in the NBA, I want the best players on my team because I want to win. Right? And as LeBron said last night, put some damn respect on my name. He knows. He listens to all these arguments about how he's not the GOAT and all, and he very well might not be right now. And it might.
Do you know why?
But I think
there's many reasons of why he's not the GOAT. Let me rephrase this.
The finals record is invalid, in my opinion.
The finals, everybody joins the NBA to win a championship.
Of course, he's been to 10.
Finals record, when you go, if you go to the finals 10 times, 10, 11 times, and your record is below 500, come on now.
Look at who he's faced, though. Look at the competition.
Look at his face. Zach, look who Jordan faced.
Who Jordan faced?
Charles Barkley. Do I really got to name this? Charles Barkley. Magic Johnson. All right.
Have they ever seen a Kevin Durant? Have they ever seen a guy like Steph Curry? Have they ever seen a guy who can pull up from anywhere?
Have you ever seen a guy that gets bullied in the paint?
And that's why you have never watched Michael Jordan. I think it's unfair for you to make that argument about how much you hate LeBron James.
Did you not see how great the game has gotten? Did you not see how bad it was? The reason why the game was so bad is the fouls they were getting was so garbage that I didn't even watch the game last night.
I find it hard to believe that the fouls alone are the reason why LeBron James is able to have such success.
Well, when you're running into people and you're getting your foul calls, so I guess I would be.
And guess what happened yesterday when it mattered the most? LeBron James put his head down, got inside against 3 or 4 defenders, and scored.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't have kicked the ball to Danny Green. Maybe shot it. Would have ended in 5 games.
Sorry that he trusts his teammates. That's one of the elements that makes him so great. And that's what does. He elevates these guys' play. Tristan Thompson's been irrelevant since then. Kevin Love, unfortunately, because of his age, I'm not going to say that he magically became an all-star when he joined LeBron. I'll give you that. But so many guys on this team, he made Tyronn Lue relevant. LeBron James is so good. He got Tyronn Lue to get a job with the Clippers and now might be the Houston Rockets' next head coach. Kyrie Irving became so relevant, got a big deal after Boston.
Well, Kyrie Irving didn't need LeBron James' name. We already knew about Kyrie.
He said that before LeBron went there. And LeBron goes there and they won an NBA title.
But he didn't need his name. I don't think Kyrie Irving wins a title, but
he does not win a title.
We're not going to sit here and talk to Kyrie Irving like he's a slouch. Like we don't know who he is.
No, he's not a slouch, but there's a difference between a talented player and a talented player that can win.
What's that? Let me ask you a question then. All right?
Go ahead.
Talented player and talented player that can win, right? Then he go to South Beach and, I don't know, join up with D. Wade and Chris Bosh?
You did. And who was the finals MVP on that team? Hold on. Who rose to the top for that team? Out of all that should give you even more things. There's more talent. Who was Kawhi Leonard forced to defend in both those series? It was LeBron James. Look at his stats even in the finals that he lost.
So here's my point. So when everyone wants to bring up this super team BS about Kevin Durant, remember, he was finals MVP for those two. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen.
And Kevin Durant, are you kidding me? You put Kevin Durant in the 90s, it's insane what he would have done.
Well, listen, none of these guys nowadays would live in the 90s. They couldn't do it.
They can shoot. They can shoot. You don't need to get inside and get.
They couldn't do it.
They can shoot.
You don't think Zach, you could shoot, but you can't. Look at the Warriors. Sometimes they live and die by 3. Hell, look at the Rockets.
The Rockets would not survive in the 90s.
LeBron
James is not a three-point shooter. My argument is that the defensive perspective, the competition you have to face.
Defense back in the day, you could play a little bit more. And you
don't think LeBron would naturally have risen to the occasion? You don't think NBA would have taken advantage of the soft calls of today?
I'm telling you right now, if LeBron James is in the 90s, they will bully the hell out of him. 6'9" frame, I don't care. You're not running in on Shaq, Hakeem Olajuwon.
He would have adapted. Just like Michael Jordan would adapt to today's NBA. You can't.
Yeah, Michael Jordan was in, he would be averaging 70.
Playing in.
If he would average 70 because that's how the soft this game is. Zach, I would average 15. That's how bad it is. Lakers fans, or excuse me, LeBron fans, don't ruin this NBA title. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're ruining it already. Let's remember the real goal here. Let's remember what it really was for, and it's a team effort. All right, let's not talk about who's the GOAT. Because in my eyes, if you want to get in the GOAT debate, you want to do that, where's your three-peat at, LeBron?
He could have had one if he didn't face a dynasty. He's facing tough competition, and he gets.
If he's the best player, he would have competed more, right? It's like a plane, right?
I find it hard to believe that if Michael Jordan was on that Cavs team in 17 and 18, he's beating the Warriors.
He took a depleted Bulls team to the playoffs. They didn't win, but he came out, but he went.
Did he go to the finals?
He didn't go to the finals, but he went.
LeBron James went to the finals.
No.
Same conference? Doesn't matter. LeBron James went to the finals. That's my argument.
All right. I guess
LeBron, Dennis Rodman, and Scottie Pippen. Look at how good that team is.
I guess
you got to look at that. You have to put them in their in somewhere else.
I could beat up on Ace too then.
To your standard, Michael Jordan is the GOAT, which means that since he's better than LeBron James in the GOAT debate, if you take Michael Jordan and you put him on that 17-18 Cavaliers team and put him up against that Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green team, you're telling me that Michael Jordan's winning that series. And if you say no, well, then the finals record's invalid. If you say yes, you're entitled to your opinion.
Finals record's not invalid. You cannot.
Do you think
you cannot say the finals record's invalid?
Let me ask you that serious question. Do you think that Michael Jordan would have won the NBA Finals with that Cavaliers team in 17-18 against the Warriors?
I believe so.
You do believe so?
I believe so.
You're entitled to your own opinion. I disagree, but if that's
17-18, right? 17-18, right?
17-18. Or no. The year after, yes. So 16-17 was the last year Kyrie was there. 17-18 was LeBron's last.
No, because they did one more with Kyrie Irving. They did one more dance with Kyrie Irving.
And they lost that one with the first year with Kevin Durant there, and then the second year with Kevin Durant there was LeBron's last year in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, no. So they won the first year. Yeah, no. So Kyrie, I believe Michael Jordan would do it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
You're entitled to your own opinion. I disagree, but if you say that, then in that case, then you can.
LeBron, listen. LeBron will be the greatest player to ever live during this generation. From the 2010s to whenever he played to the ends.
He's been in the finals every year but one.
Kobe Bryant was the greatest to ever play from the in his era, and Michael Jordan was the 90s, right? But here's the difference between those two and him and LeBron, right? It's all about the eras. It's all about the people that grown up.
Let me ask you this: Who's better? Who would you say is better, Dwayne Wade or Scottie Pippen? They're both good offensive pieces.
Scottie Pippen defensively. I think Scottie Pippen defensively, he was able to move the ball as well. He was a playmaker.
Then what about Chris Bosh or Dennis Rodman? Because Rodman, pound for pound, was a better defender because he's smaller. So
here's my real question then.
No, answer that one quickly. Do you take Scottie
Pippen? Okay, well, it'll be Dennis Rodman. But here's the thing. Dennis Rodman, right? But if you're talking about how
Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson is a triangle. Phil Jackson.
Okay, so you have just definitively told me that Michael Jordan has had better talent and better coaching. You told me that. I didn't say that. You just told me that the talent that Michael Jordan had in the second three-peat versus the Heat, better coach, better supporting cast, therefore Jordan is better. And you would say, obviously, Jordan over LeBron. That gives 4 out of the 4 categories I just asked you to the Bulls.
Well, here's another thing, Zach.
What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts that you just bluntly cited that you admitted that the Bulls had a lot more talent than that Heat team?
Well, wait a minute, because Dennis Rodman was not an offensive powerhouse like everybody.
Now you're gonna change your opinion on Chris Bosh.
He was there to He was basically there to grab rebounds and play defense.
Did his job,
right? Did his job. Grab rebounds, play defense, right?
Yes.
Scottie Pippen was his dynamic duo, his partner. All right. Michael Jordan, that's why they were the best duo ever. I think, honestly, the best guard and small forward duo all in NBA history. I think Kevin Durant and Steph Curry might be next. I don't know. They're top. They're up there. But, Zach, what I'm trying to say is this. LeBron James would not make it in the 90s. He would not make it in the 90s.
So I'll ask you this then. What makes you think that Michael Jordan and that Bulls team would have no problem competing against a three-pointer today? Do you think that they would adapt?
Defense. They would adapt.
And you're saying LeBron James couldn't adapt in the 90s? I find that hard to believe.
He's complaining about every little foul call.
Because that's the culture. That is the culture that has
You're
been
getting
enabled by
beat up
the
in the
NBA.
90s. Zach, Allen Iverson got put on the ground. On the ground. And that was
Put LeBron in that era and don't have these players enabled to be
put
used
LeBron in the era, we
to
wouldn't know
he
who he
will
is.
adapt.
Put LeBron in the era, we don't even know who the hell he is.
I disagree. His leadership
But I
skills,
will say
his
this.
ability to facilitate, his physical build, his developed jump shot over the years, the
If he's
expectations that were set
physical,
on
why
him
is he
from the day
complaining
he
all the
entered the
time?
league.
If he's physical, why does he complain all the time? Zach, I want
Because
to say
that's the culture of the NBA today. Every player does it.
but Zach,
Even Kawhi Leonard does it. Kawhi Robot Leonard always
oh, yeah.
likes to complain
Why
about
Robot
things.
Leonard? Did you call him a robot?
He is a robot. In my opinion, it's a great talent to have as a player, but he still looks at the refs at least a few times a game. That's the culture of today's NBA. And so if LeBron
That's the problem
if
with
that's the
today's
way that we
NBA.
want to go, I have confidence LeBron would adapt to the 90s.
Well, okay, and my last thing is but LeBron James will always be the greatest athlete of all time. Why I say that? He handles pressure very well, right? The outside noise. Does things that, I'm always high. I'm always high on this when it comes to
Off
this.
the court.
Off the court, how he handles himself, right? How he reminds people where he comes from. Not a lot of people do that still. Not a lot of people do that. And just the way how he moves, he handles them. I think LeBron James is one of the most influential black men I've ever seen. Especially what's been going on recently. I know Michael Jordan. A lot of people would say Michael Jordan that thing, but there's some things that Michael Jordan did, or I wish he did do back in the time he didn't do that kind of ruined that for me. I wouldn't say that, even though Michael Jordan's shoes are like iconic. But when it comes to athlete, LeBron James will be the greatest athlete to ever go down because of everything else he's done. I mean, look at it. Every time there's a social problem, who are we asking? LeBron. But when it comes to basketball, you can't. The gap is not. I'm going to be honest with you. The gap between him and Kobe is not far. They might be even neck and neck, Zach. But the gap between him and Jordan is a little ways. It's a little ways.
All right, and so just a friendly reminder to everyone, yes, Los Angeles Lakers won that title. You can say it was a very unfortunate ending to his life in January. For those who don't know his life or haven't read his work, he had a spectacular life. If you want to talk about mentality, you want to talk about the way you should carry yourself, the way you should present yourself, speak softly and carry a big stick. You want to talk about that? That was Kobe Bryant. And so I imagine that he had embodied that in his daughters, including Gianna, who unfortunately passed away with him, as well as the 7 others on that helicopter in that fatal crash. It was a tragedy. And I don't think it's with heavy hearts that we speak about this stuff. And although we get to sit here and debate a lot about basketball, at the end of the day, we understand the human factor. We understand what's important at the end of the day off the court. And you want to talk about someone who had that mentality, who just wanted to win. And afterwards, for me as a business person, I've read about his investments for that new sports drink. I totally forget the name of it right now, but it's become really popular, more popular than Gatorade. What is it?
Is it the Mamba? The Mamba?
No, there's a drink. I forget the name. It's very popular.
Okay.
You'll see it every day. I'll have to look it up at the break. But Kobe Bryant was a big investor in that. He was a big investor off the court. From the business side, I respect that. And he had a heck of a mentality, and rest up easy to both him, Gigi, as well as the other folks who had lost their lives in that fatal crash that day. And it's a reminder. I think one thing we can look at after last night, the sense of unity at the end of the day. And as Gavin said, for a black man in America, for you, Gavin, that you've mentioned a lot of the struggles you've had the past few months, to see fellow black men who have worked their butts off their whole lives and to get up there and be successful. In my opinion, and again, I can't speak for you, but in my opinion, that sees a lot of inspiration for what this country is going through. And I think it was a sense of normalcy. Like, we had an NBA champion this year. Props to Adam Silver. Props to the whole NBA. Before we get to the break here, I just wanted to say that. And that, again, Gavin, you are more than welcome to speak differently than me. If I misspeak, you can correct me. But I think that it's an inspiration. And for those watching, no matter what happens, whether we talk about the elections in November, make sure you're voting, especially local elections, so important. And
register, ladies and gentlemen, register.
Yeah, next week I think is the end for Pennsylvania here. I think it's so important that you get educated and that you look at it as inspiration. Don't let yourself get diminished. Don't allow yourself to be knocked down. Stand up, be proud, empower yourself. For me and my community, whether it's my Jewish community or other people that I have come in contact with, empower, raise, don't destroy. And for Gavin, the same way. And I hope that's our goal with this show. It's a reminder, and it's a nice reminder to see here as the NBA title has been secured.
And real quick before we go to break, Zach, I'm once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not criticizing LeBron James as a black man, because once again, as a black culture, we gotta stop doing that, tearing each other down when somebody gets above one another or works harder and gets here. We can't do that. We got like I sent you, Zach. I know you saw Damian Lillard's post. We gotta stop tearing each other down. We gotta support one another. LeBron James, if this just gets LeBron James, that'd be fantastic. But LeBron, I just want you to know, I'm not tearing you down from a black man's perspective, or from just from perspective as a kid, because I do look up to you. From the basketball point of view of me, I'm a critic when it comes to you from basketball. But when it comes, if I see you down the street, hell yeah, I'm gonna run over to you. It's the beauty of the game, though. And last night it was beautiful. Zach, unity showed. They all love Kobe Bryant. We love Kobe Bryant here. But it's been crazy. It's been a crazy year. Props to him, so like you said.
Yeah, before the break here, I mean, I don't care what your political beliefs are. I don't care what your, what anything that you do in your life outside of some of these certain things. As long as you're a supporter of human decency, unity and love will always prevail no matter what happens. In my opinion, that's being proven right now. And I look forward to. We had the Stanley Cup already. We're gonna have the World Series tonight. The
WNBA.
ALCS kicked off last night. We'll cover all that and more here coming up. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom-designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode. It was Body Armor. I just looked it up. Was the name of the drink. Body Armor. So that's the one that Kobe Bryant had invested in. So now, Gavin, coming up here, we are going to speak about. We do have about 15 or so minutes left here. The Philadelphia Eagles, who devastating loss yesterday. My brother actually happened to be at the game. Limited fans in the crowd. It's different than the artificial fans. But the Battle of PA, the Steelers prevail. I don't know. I feel indifferent about this loss. My expectations for this team went away a while ago. They're just hurt. They were not drafting correctly, in my opinion. Carson Wentz has been having a down year.
Metcalf had a good day yesterday, Zach.
The play calling's been subpar, but I offensively, in my opinion, there's no reason to hang your hat. The only criticism, in my opinion, he took one bad sack and for holding the ball too long. And the interception, the first one, by the way, was an illegal contact on the linebacker. I think Carson threw that ball a little early because he trusts Ertz to be able to get there, but it was intercepted because he was unable to get there. I don't know if he would have caught it if he was there, but I'm not going to really put that one on Carson. The second pick, we was just trying to make a play at the end. The defense let us down, specifically with the linebackers. I think the defense played well early. I got to say, a lot of penalties against the defense, which were questionable. I think there were 3 big PIs, 2 of which I did not agree with. One on Slay, who's in concussion protocol right now, by the way, and one on Jalen Mills. But there was another one on Darius Slay that was more of a PI, more or less. But I think that the defense was fine at it early, but they really fell off and they got out coached. I'll say it that way. That is what an out coached game looks like. I don't think you're out physical. The Eagles offense hung. That defense is very talented. And for Travis Fulgham against Joe Hayden and all these other corners that they had to go up there and do what he did. Carson Wentz with the pressure that came. Props to the O-line, by the way, but Carson Wentz moving around out of the pocket, doing great things yesterday. Again, the Jalen Hurts stuff needs to stop. I've been saying it for a few weeks. I've been critical of Carson all year.
He had a completion yesterday.
He did. That's right. He had a quick pass that was completed. Good for him. I'm proud of that. But again, Carson Wentz is our quarterback. That argument should not be happening today. But I think that in all honesty, we have a legit wide receiver 1 in Travis Fulgham, assuming it's not a fluke. And I just have to say, I got to be honest. I think that this team, there's not a lot to hang your hat on. You got outcoached a lot yesterday. That final touchdown to Chase Claypool, for some reason, Nate Gary was on him, and Ben Roethlisberger pointed it out. When we were giving them space, they were taking our underneath. When we played in, they took us over the top, which really didn't happen because Juju Smith-Schuster had 2 catches yesterday. Props to Darius Slay. I mean, he's having a hell of a year at corner. If we were a relevant team, he'd arguably be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation right now. But as far as it is concerned, we got outcoached straight up. I don't think that we don't have the talent on this team. Wide receivers, we do not have the talent at all to be a good team. And Zach Ertz has become so irrelevant. But the defense is getting outcoached. I think it's time to look a different direction with Jim Schwartz. I think it's time to really look at investing in a really good linebacker in the draft. Offensively, I mean, I think it was just a fluke. I hope Doug Peterson can find his grips and learn how to coach this team. The run game did not work yesterday. I still think on some of the first downs, you still got to run and keep the defense honest. I understand it didn't really work. Miles Sanders had a heck of a touchdown really early on in the game. But other than that, the team simply got out coached. But the offense physically hung with a very physical defense, and that gives me hope.
I'm actually not upset about Eagles' loss yesterday. I mean, I'm in a group chat with Steelers fan who had the nerve to talk, and I said, "Congratulations on being able to deplete a team." We all know how Big Ben gets in November and late October, so I'm not really worried. Zach, I'm not upset with the offense, and here's why. They did what we asked for. They answered. They responded to criticism. They put up should have been 31 points, Mr. 30 or 30 something points. Mr. Jake
Should have been at
Elliott
least 30 against arguably the best defense in
should
the
have been
league.
30 points. Could have arguably came back. So here's my problem with yesterday's game, and it's not the offense. You give up 4 touchdowns to a guy named Chase Claypool, who, by the way, they're doing basic Madden plays, drag routes,
Just drag routes.
reverses, Zach, and you're telling me Doug Pearson go, hey, yo, Jim Schwartz, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. They did the same play back-to-back times. Hell, they ran reverse 3 times on one drive. One of them went in for the touchdown. To the same person. They made Chase Claypool, right? And I was pissed off because I was watching on Red Zone, and you know how the Red Zone guy is. Once he hears one dude's name, it's over for the rest of the day. They made Chase Claypool look like Julio Jones yesterday. And that's the problem. Chase Claypool is not Julio Jones. He's not that good. I can't say he's not good because he destroyed our defense. How many times I had to come on this show and say Jim Schwartz is the problem? How many times I got to do it?
Been every week. I think honestly every week. They lead the league in sacks. The front four is good. The secondary is good. But we're getting outcoached. They're exposing our bad linebacking core.
Linebacking core sucks, and the defense and the defensive coach has no clue on what to do.
He's getting outcoached right now.
And maybe we get lucky and the Atlanta Falcons might hire Jim Schwartz to be their coach, and we get rid of this idiot off the defense because he doesn't know anything about defense. Maybe. But all in all, I'm not really upset about yesterday's game because it's NFC East, and I don't know if we're going to the Cowboys next, but there's a reason why I'm not that worried no more.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll have to see what happens. The Giants had a really good game yesterday. We'll shift over to that right now. First of all, heartbreaking news for any person. I've said this before. I've made it really clear on this show. The first aspect when looking at a franchise quarterback, you can go back and watch some of our previous shows about this. We spoke in detail during the pandemic early on in the quarantine when we were speaking about Dak Prescott and making his money, and was he asking for too much? And Gavin, you and I diverged. We diverged at a certain extent, but we actually ended up agreeing towards the end that he's not worth top dollar at all. But he is. And I know it's tough to say that after an injury like that, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I say he's worth a good amount of money. And while it makes less sense, why should be making less than Jared Goff because the market was set with that? He's not worth that because he can't throw a team on his back. But I'm not going to sit here today. I'm not going to throw stones at him because he stays outside of the now. He has stayed healthy up to this point. Again, this is the Jerry Jones feedback. He did not. What am I looking at?
My tweet from yesterday. You're gonna figure out why.
Right. Yeah, I like that. So, and he didn't get in trouble. Zeke Elliott was partying. Ezekiel Elliott was sitting in Cabo saying, "I'm not coming up there." And then what's Jerry Jones like? Here's $91 million. Okay. Checks himself out of the most important play of the game last year and caused a fumble, which the Eagles ultimately picked up and ended up winning. Amari Cooper was also on the sideline for that, which they paid him as well. I'm kind of hoping in two ways that Andy Dalton really doesn't do well, or I guess in the long term as an Eagles fan I shouldn't be. But from a humane perspective, and again, it's not really so humane for Andy Dalton, but I hope to see that he doesn't click in that system to an extent where it's like, okay, well maybe we shouldn't sign Dak to a lot of money. As a person, separating myself as an Eagles fan, Dak Prescott's a hell of a person and has been through a heck of a lot. For those who don't know,
nice guy.
Due to suicide, and he admitted that he was suffering from depression, and he was open about it because if you're someone who's depressed, or Gavin, you spoke about before, where you look up to LeBron James as an African American figure in this country, for someone who's depressed and they see a guy like Dak Prescott speak up about it. And I watched some film. He was talking to Hayden Hurst, whose mom runs a foundation for suicide survivors and people that are from attempted suicide to help them get help. And I think him and Dak Prescott spoke about a collaboration. And I mean, this guy's been through it. And the fact that he's out there every day, he shows up on time, he didn't hold out, he had these negotiations, won a top dollar. Is he worth top dollar now? Is he the best quarterback in the league now? Is he top 5 now? But does he, like I said before, does he drop back and do the basics? Of course. And you can build around that. And he's a leader, real leader. And look at how stadium and all his players ran up to him, and waved him off on his cart. And look at the tears out of his eyes. That hurt to watch. First of all, the injury was gruesome. I hope no one has to see that again or goes through that. But uh, it was really tough to watch. And for Dak Prescott, nothing but the best for him. He's been through a lot, and it's unfortunate. And I think that this should be. I don't know if this is not a wake up call to Jerry Jones. I don't trust him to make the right decision here. He went with a wide receiver to show off instead of getting a real defensive piece to help his team out. And I hate the Cowboys with a burning passion, and I have no respect for them. But Dak Prescott, independently of being a Cowboy, I wish him well, and I hope that he gets paid because he deserves it. He should not be making $300,000, which, by the way, is a lot of money. But when you look at
It's a lot of money, but the way how he's been doing it, that's not a lot of money. I'm just letting you know.
and if you put your career on the line where you could arguably never play again, there's a reason you want to make 20 plus $million. He was asking for upwards of 40 and 50, which I don't know if it's true or not, but I think 30 is a healthy number for him. He's making 30 some $million this year on his franchise tag. What hurts for me, again, separate of being an Eagles fan, this was his opportunity to prove it, and the record doesn't show it, and the 7 offensive snaps with the lead don't show it. But he's putting up good stats. I think they're empty, but he's doing his job, and it's tough to sit here and say he doesn't deserve $30 million a year from what he has done. He's proven that he can win with this team.
Well, Zach, I'm gonna come out and say this. I don't know if you saw my Instagram story last night or the tweet you just saw it. I was not happy. I was really not happy. Zach, you remember earlier from the show? Excuse me. I came out here and said, "Give my man some money." The reason why, and I'm not even speaking from an NFL perspective. I'm speaking from a humane, and just a regular person's perspective. Dak Prescott is one of those guys you wish he was one of your friends, Zach. I'm gonna just come out and say, nice guy, always on time. You never hear anyone have a problem with him. He does it basically. He's like a yes man, which sometimes is not good. It's a good or bad thing. I know. In 2016 with the national anthem, and Jerry Jones said we're stand, and that kind of was a yes man towards that, and kind of backed Jerry Jones on that, which I know that was kind of a little hard for someone that that kind of wanted to go with the whole kneeling thing. That was the only thing that I didn't like to hear from Dak, but it was okay. It's all right.
He was a rookie. I mean, he's a young guy, and when you're on a big stage, it's tough. Yeah.
You're a third round pick. All right. You don't really have much to say. You gotta owe. You owe everybody. You listen to what everybody said. But the way how the Dallas Cowboys use this man, right, and the chance of him maybe not even getting a long term deal after next year upsets me and pisses me off. Zach, the reason why it pisses me off is because of this. If this was Tony Romo, who had one playoff win. One. He was 32 years old when he got paid again. He got $108 million. $55 million guaranteed, 25 in signing bonus at the age of 32 with one playoff win. And you're telling me a guy who's younger, a guy that has a little bit more playoff wins than Tony Romo, right? Couldn't get a long-term deal. If Tony Romo said he wanted a 4-year deal and Jerry Jones wanted a 5, I'm pretty sure Jerry Jones would have gave him a 4 because he asked, right? Because that was the problem with Dak. Dak wanted a 4, Jerry wanted a 5. Okay. If this is Tony Romo, you would have got the 4. Another reason why I'm really pissed off about this is, Zach, you know how I am when it comes to everybody getting paid. I believe everybody should be paid. All right. If you guys don't know what Dak Prescott's story is, it's a pretty fantastic story. ESPN did an E60 with him. It's actually really heartbreaking, too. Knowing Dak Prescott's background, knowing where he came from, knowing how much of a nice guy he is, I would root for Dak Prescott, not even from just a fan. I'm rooting for Dak Prescott as a person. As a person. Yesterday, when he broke it was his ankle. When he broke his ankle, I realized something. I said, wow, the Dallas Cowboys really screwed this man over. Screwed this man over. And this is how good of a teammate Dak Prescott is, Zach. He could have easily did this. And I came on the show and said this. If I'm Dak Prescott, I'm sitting out. He didn't sit out. I don't know if any one of his teammates was like, hey, yo, maybe you should sit this one out, get your money. He said, no, I'm going to come out and come play. Zach, you're right. The record may not show for how Dak's doing this year, but it's kind of hard to do that when your defense is giving up 50 points a game almost. It really is hard to do that. So, but all in all, Jerry Jones, you owe my man a 5-year, 4-year, whatever he wants. I know you. If you don't have the money to do it, you better figure a way out. You better figure a way to get him his money. Because if he doesn't get re-signed either, Zach, going in free agency, not every team's going to ask you for what you want. It's going to be even harder. Look what happened to Teddy Bridgewater. It took Teddy Bridgewater two and 3 years to finally get on the right team. Finally with the Carolina.
And they're winning.
And they're winning. Surprisingly, they're winning. I know Mr. Weicker is probably happy about that. But, Zach, I wish Dak nothing but a speedy recovery. I really do. I don't hate Dak Prescott. I don't hate any of the Cowboys players, really, because they're people. They're human beings. Do I hate the team?
Well, that's a conversation for a different day.
Well, listen, Zach, sometimes you got to – look, I don't hate the Cow. Like, I don't hate Ezekiel Elliott. I just hate the team.
You can't hate the people. Under that star, I'm not going to love them.
That's the thing.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you get hurt, it has nothing to do with the football teams.
Yesterday was a day where – excuse me, I became a big Dak supporter and getting his money. And I was a big Dak supporter to start about getting his money, and now I'm just going to continue to be a bigger supporter. Hopefully, he gets paid.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens here as it progresses. Honestly, I mean, 4 to 6 months, he's obviously out for the season. We'll have to see how they recoup. But
I hope Andy Dalton does bad. I forgot to say that.
Yeah, to prove a point there. The Eagles play them in a few weeks. Obviously, it's football is not in the conversation.
Andy Dalton throws 30 interceptions.
When you're speaking about the health of these guys, we'll have to see what happens. But coming up, we are going to talk about baseball tomorrow. Unfortunately, we are running out of some time today. But ALCS, Gavin, last night, just some quick thoughts on that game.
Well, it was a good game. Jose Altuve hit a home run off Blake Snell at the start for the Houston Astros. And then I can't say this guy's name, but he's on a tear. It's Randy or is it Sin? It's Randy. You get on trust. I can't say his name. His last name is hard. But this guy's on a complete tear, Zach. He's actually really scary to watch. He
the Athletics and the Astros are talking.
I'm talking Tampa. This is Tampa for me.
Tampa you're talking about.
Yeah. But
I'm looking at the wrong series.
Oh, my fault. Well, you want to go to Astros. Listen, the Astros and the Athletics, I knew that was going to happen. The Athletics don't have great enough pitching in my eyes. And you lost Matt Chapman, a really great bat on your team. I know Chris Davis hit home runs, but at the end of the day, you need contact hitters in the playoffs, Zach. And you could disagree or agree with me, but I feel like you need contact hitters in the playoffs. That's the one thing that kills the Yankees every single year because they don't have a fair balance between contact and power.
All power.
Look at the Braves. Look at the Astros. They have a fair enough between both. And in order for a team like the Yankees to move forward, Zach, you're going to have to reinvent that lineup. Not get rid of Judge and Stanton, but you're going to have to get some contact hitters.
You got to develop your reliance. But tomorrow we'll recap that. Game 2 is tonight as well as the Dodgers and the Braves kick off their series, as well as Monday Night Football, the Chargers and the Saints. And tomorrow is supposed to play the Bills and the Titans. So we'll have to see what happens there and continue to report on it. Thanks again, everybody, for watching us today, and have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live.